Howdy doody. Welcome to episode 235 of TDI. This is Doc Bro on the horn to start per usual. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my best friend, and Barry Allen aficionado, Ricky Flicks. How are you, my friend? A very special pod today in preparation for Andy Machete's upcoming superhero epic.
The hype has been high, and it's finally Flash Week. Will it live up to the hype? The Rotten Tomato scores says no, in my opinion. But James Gunn doubled down today after the premiere and said, yes, this movie is that good. And this is the week that we see if James Gunn's right, if Peter Safran's right, if Tom Cruise is right, Mr. Box Office himself, Stephen King, like all these people.
Oh my God.
They owe us. They hyped this movie up. They set the expectations high. It's time for them to deliver. So it's Flash Week. I'm ready for it, but it's a big pod today. Not just because it's a Flash predictions. I'll give the reins back to you.
So this is a hotly anticipated movie, and this podcast has been hotly anticipated by the listeners because it features the return of our DC correspondent, also our Tolkien correspondent. You probably heard him last time if you're a returning listener from the Lord of the Rings draft we had prior to the Rings of Power. This person, this special guest, Ricky Flicks and I's also best friend and brother, he's been cooped up for months on end, waiting for his return. Let's give it up for Big Mike. Snap it up. How are you, Mike?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for the best friend ring. I was a little insulted if you weren't going to say that after Rick. I'm just third wheeling. But, yeah, I'm excited to be back. Yeah, DC hasn't had much to be excited about, but this is hopefully a trend in the right direction. Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Mike, you were saying you have some really bold predictions here. You accidentally teased it to us, and I can't wait for the big reveal later on in our predictions. But we got to get to the state of the DC universe right now because there was some interesting news that came out today. James Gunn's been doing a little bit of press right now. He jumped on a podcast or two recently, and he said that the official first movie of the DC universe is Superman Legacy. But Superman is not the first official character in the DCU. Michael, did you hear about this?
I actually did not. So, as correspondent, I'm sorry.
So, what James Gunn said is that the first character, as our DC correspondent. God damn it.
That's our correspondent.
I was not anticipating he would have no idea what we're talking about. All right. Not as tapped in as we are. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. Blue Beetle is going to be the first character in the DC universe. However, the movie Blue Beetle is not the first movie from James Gunn's newly headed studio. So that could get really confusing for many fans. But in my interpretation, what this means is that we're going to have the person playing Blue Beetle and the character of Blue Beetle carried over into the DC universe. But the movie itself will not matter in the lore of the DC universe. So, Michael, I'll lead off with you. Do we even have to see Blue Beetle?
I mean, that's a strange decision. If it's going to be the same Blue Beetle, yeah, because it may not be, because he wants to do a Booster Gold movie in that first slate. And Booster Gold traditionally teams up with Ted Kord, who is in Blue Beetle, but as an old man, kind of like Michael Douglas and Ant-Man, playing Hank Pym. So I don't know if they're going to do maybe a young, I think his name Jaime, with Jaime Reyes. I think that was if they're going to do a young version of that with an older, like immature Booster Gold, or if they're going to completely recast. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I still think it's worth seeing. Like, it also depends like how the movie is, just because there's no harm in seeing a movie just because it's good or it looks fun. It doesn't always have to be part of a slate, It could just be a fun time.
That background information you gave us on the relationship between Booster Gold and Blue Beetle is why you're our DC correspondent. You totally redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
Ricky Flex, you interested in Blue Beetle?
No, no, no. Like, come on. But I will say, this news makes me not want to see the movie, but now I think I will see the movie. I was potentially thinking of passing on it. I've talked about that on this podcast, but with the background from Big Mike, but also James Gunn saying this is the first character in the DCU, that tells me, okay, maybe the movie isn't that good. George Lopez, that's all I'll have to say about that. But maybe the character, maybe this actor does a pretty good job playing Blue Beetle. And maybe the character is actually pretty cool. And he has some good gadgets that we see in the trailer. Hopefully the effects on the big screen look good, the VFX. But all in all, like, this tells me, okay, maybe the movie might not be good, but maybe this is a character worth seeing on the big screen that he probably won't get his own movie. Maybe he is in the Buster Gold movie that's going to be a project coming out. But hey, it's worth seeing perhaps. So James Gunn, very manipulative a little bit, playing with us a little bit, but hey, he's doing a good job so far. We'll see if Flash lives up to his hype. Yeah.
I actually have an interesting point about that. So if he's saying that's the first character on screen, that doesn't that kind of imply Ezra Miller is not going to be in the DCU?
We'll get to the predictions, Mike.
And same with Sasha Cal's Supergirl, like,
or Shazam or Black Adam.
Yeah, he's kind of implying, but it's like, or maybe he's being manipulative and saying he is going to recast Blue Beetle, and he's just trying to get people to go see this movie.
That's a great point.
That's also a good point.
I would also say, Big Mike, you kind of made me do a little bit of a 180 here by like that Booster Gold comment. And this guy I'm kind of interested in seeing Blue Beetle to see the performance of the actor that's portraying Jaime Reyes, right? Cholo Maridueña. He is in Cobra Kai. I've never seen Cobra Kai, but a lot of people love that show. They love his character in that show. And maybe he does something really cool with Blue Beetle. And James Gunn said, this is something that's worth saving. But I couldn't help but think what Ricky Flicks brought up. I think James Gunn saw that George Lopez is like playing his dad, and you're just like, I don't really want George Lopez to be one of the first characters initiated to the DC universe, right? It's not really the vibe that we're going for.
And he said in the trailer, Batman's a fascist.
Yeah, that's where James Gunn drew a line. He's like, yep, he's out.
But like, I'll also just say this: interesting news today, again, with this coming out. But also, we just did the DC versus MCU last pod, the state of both of them, and kind of like where they lie. We kind of did it a day too early because we got all the news about the MCU delays. And I think half the things I said about the MCU maybe having a medium-term bright outlook versus the DCU, we still don't know. Now I'm like, all right, the MCU might be more in flux than I even thought. And I thought they were in pretty bad, rough shape. So it's interesting to see, like, we're finally getting some definitive answers from James Gunn, which I like to see. And the MCU, we're just pushing, delaying everything out. And who knows what's going to happen by 2027 with Secret Wars.
Yeah. Let's see if DC can capitalize on this, right? From like these pushbacks from Marvel. Then we talked about last podcast, the pivotal year that 2025 is for the DC universe, with the Batman Part 2 coming out, Superman Legacy, the first official film in the DC universe. So let's see if they can pull off like this grand entrance for James Gunn's regime. I mean, we're talking about potential shift in the industry, a shift towards DC. Let's see if the Flash can contribute to that. Let's start with our bold predictions here. If you could excuse us, Big Mike, we do have to lead off with Ricky Flicks here, because traditionally with the 10 bold predictions, we have something that has to do with the box office for the opening weekend. So Ricky Flicks, or for the box office total overall, what can you give us for our first official prediction?
Okay. So, of course, the box office prediction. I'll keep it domestic again. All right. So, estimates came out today. All right. It said that Flash is projected to get $70 million this weekend. All right. Black Adam did 67 million.
That's a lot.
Total. I think this is going to beat Black Adam, and this is going to beat those estimates. But is that bold enough?
Over 75, maybe? I think that would be bold.
Yeah, because I just don't see it hitting 100 million.
I don't understand how. So you said Black Adam hit 67 million. This movie features two Batmen This is making over $75 million domestic.
Do you think it hits 100?
That would be bold. Just because DC movies, like a $67 million opening, is not very successful for most superhero films in comparison to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But for Black Adam and for DC, that was actually, I guess, average, or I guess decent for them, and they looked at it as somewhat of a success. Obviously didn't follow up the subsequent weekends, but I think when you have two Batmen here, and like you might be accounting for the Ezra Miller of it all, which is like putting a huge dark cloud over this film,
Exactly.
obviously, that they've tried to shroud DC as a studio, like putting names like you said, Tom Cruise and Stephen King, saying this is an absolute blockbuster that we've been waiting for, and then James Gunn saying before he even like has his hands on the DC universe that this is must see, his favorite movie of the year. It's got two Batmen in it, man. It's got one that is beloved and an OG.
But
Yeah.
I think my only thing, sorry, Big Mike, one last thing is that The Rock is The Rock, and we can mock him all he wants. He gets butts in seats. So that's also a part of it. And also, we still have Across the Spider-Verse roaming around, Transformers, Little Mermaid, all still going around here. Elemental, a Pixar movie. We have a lot of kids' movies still in like an opening weekend or second or third weekend. So I think that's going to take away some of the shine. So I just really find it hard for this to make 100 million.
Okay. So what do you think, Big Mike? What do you think we should go on the $100 million side? Do you think we should just go a little conservative and go 75 million? What do you think?
I mean, it's got two Batman, and it's got Supergirl, and it's got the Flash. First, despite I think you guys are movie aficionados. Gonna be honest, I think most people you ask on the street, they're not even gonna know who, like, what you're talking about when you talk about Ezra Miller.
You think?
Gotta take that out.
I feel like more people know about Ezra Miller than the Flash.
No, man, I don't think so, because he's not. It's different than, like, say, Tom Cruise did what he did. Everyone knows what Tom Cruise is. Ezra Miller still was breaking through, and like,
not as
honestly, people aren't that tuned in. Like the average moviegoer, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference. To be honest, I'm thinking it's gonna cross 100 mil. I think big time summer blockbuster. This thing, I think, pun intended, I think it's gonna have legs. And so I think what's it called?
Jesus.
Domestic box office over or 100 million plus.
Well,
I think
Guardians got 120, right?
Yeah.
I think we split the difference and go over 80. That's what I think we do.
Okay.
85.
85. We'll do 85.
Fine, write it down. We gotta get this one. We gotta write it down. Put it in ink.
85.
If it goes over, you pay me the diff.
No, we gotta wait for our sponsor to actually latch on here, and then we can make something happen. So that's the first prediction. Over $85 million domestically in the opening weekend. Mike, let's go to your first prediction here. What would you like to lay on us and the listeners here?
All right. So I texted you guys this, and I didn't I think it was before about the pot. We were talking about me coming on, and I got antsy because I've been having this for a while. I think Christian Bale is going to show up. I think the Dark Knight Batman is going to be.
Wow.
First big, bold prediction.
Okay. I thought $100 million was bold. You saying that Christian Bale, Nolan's Batman, is going to make an appearance here. I like it. You know, these multiverse type of movies, it's about what you don't see in the trailer more so than what you get. Like, we know we're getting Keaton here, and like, it's about what Easter eggs are going to pop up. And if we got like storytelling with featuring two Batman, you can't like leave out arguably the most iconic one from the most iconic movies. And he's shown that he will do like a superhero film in these 2020s. Like, he was the villain. He was Gore the God Butcher in Thor: Love and Thunder. You're telling me he won't show up for at least a blip in the Flash as Batman? I think I'm on Mike's side here.
My profession's marketing. Think about this. You can't market because of Miller. He's been out of everything. Talk about word of mouth. if you got you sneak in a cameo of Christian Bale, people, our generation, that's our Batman. So now you got the two most iconic Batman of different generations in there. So the word of mouth, that's going to make people come to the theater and put butts in seats. So that, I think that would be a huge coup for them to get. And I think, honestly, this has been in development hell forever. They've already thrown so much money at this. Throw as much money as you can to Bale, give him half your marketing budget, and then have him do a 5-minute cameo. Like, that's.
I think I'll jump in here. I think two things. One, Black Adam. When we found out Henry Cavill was in the movie, like that definitely puts some butts in seats. So I do agree, word of mouth, it works. But two, I don't want to cling on because you guys sound like he's like the current 2023 Christian Bale or whenever this was filmed is in it. I disagree. I'm not saying let's put this on. I think Christian Bale appearance is what I want on the graphic. I think it's more like Across the Spider-Verse where like when the Flash is time jumping, we might see
that's 100% is what I'm saying.
I don't think he's gonna like 5 minutes. I think is a lot. I think it's like a blip, a scene. Like it's not even a scene. It's just like boom, he exists.
But it's a scene from The Dark Knight or Batman Begins or The Dark Knight Rises. It's not like Christian Bale making a cameo in like on set. It's like, oh, they used something from the Nolan movie.
Yeah, I can see that too. Like, honestly, that's probably more realistic, right? Because it's probably easier for him to go play a villain in an MCU movie. You know, he's not going to be fully connected to it. He can have some fun with it. But, like, he is forever known as, like, as Batman. That is him. That is Christian Bale. Batman, right? That is him. So it's like, it's a lot to ask him to, like, do anything new for that character. He doesn't want to tarnish that legacy. So I could see actually what Ricky's saying. I think he makes an appearance, but it's through what he's already done.
And I just want to throw this out there. I'm not saying we put this on the board. I could see a George Clooney, Val Kilmer,
Christ.
like.
Oh, if we're gonna say
Val Kilmer can't even talk.
No. Again, it's the same concept where it's just a flash of that movie, of a scene. Like it's.
Why do you have to add all this right now?
I'm not adding.
I had a second prediction that was very related to that.
Yeah.
So
Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm just saying. I'm throwing in Batman movies from before. I'm just saying, like, I don't want it on the board. I'm just saying because it's on topic.
Oh, we're gonna get Shaq as Steel now. Like, what's gonna happen? DC movie?
Christian Bale Batman appearance. That's what I think we say.
Yeah. Yes. On the board.
Christian Bale Batman appearance as the second prediction. It's now on to me, if you don't mind, boys. But I'm gonna say this is Ricky said this earlier. It's like Dr. O. I approach this pragmatically, right? I'm a realist when it comes to these predictions. I'm bold, but also I want to be right. And I don't think General Zod is going to be the main villain of this movie.
I have that one too.
Well, too bad I said it. Okay, General Zod, not the main villain.
Too obvious.
Anybody who's seen Flashpoint, read the comic, knows that.
And it's like this movie, I think they want to get back to it focusing on like the Flash. And we know General Zod is like old school first Snyderverse movie, Man of Steel villain, obviously has some connection in this movie to Sasha Call and her Supergirl. And you have to bring it back to the Flash somehow. So whether it be a reverse Flash, a third version of Barry Allen that is like, we talk about a multiverse type of storytelling, it'd be kind of interesting, especially like, I'm not gonna say it. I don't know if Michael's seen the movie, so I don't want to say it. It's gonna be interesting if you have a version of Barry Allen that is the antagonist, and it's like, who saw it coming? 3 Ezra Millers, holy crap! But I don't, and I also saw Michael Shannon did some interviews, and he was so not into returning as General Zod, and he wouldn't have made this so public unless he has. Like, he doesn't have substantial screen time. Like, I don't think he's going to be in this movie that long. And they're kind of just, I think, leaving out the third act at the same time. So I'm saying General Zod, not the main villain. Simple.
Totally agree. I totally agree. It's way too obvious. We already had him as a big bad for a Superman movie. Like, we're not going to, in the same act, literally the same Zod, we're not doing this again for Ezra Miller and Michael Keaton. I could see Reverse Flash, the obvious, like Big Mike mentioned, iconic Flash villain, a part of Barry Allen's mom's death. I could see Dark Flash potentially, which is Barry Allen. So that goes back to what you were saying, Doctor. But I could also see this scenario, and I don't want this on the board. I'm just saying it.
Here we go. Again.
So instead of 3 Barry Allens, it is only 2. And then the other Barry is actually a bad guy, and he's pretending to be a doofus, and he's just pretending to be along the way. And he's really the Dark Flash.
The twist.
Yeah, so a twist with the only 2. I'm just saying I could also see that happening.
Let's back pocket that one unless you want to make it the next prediction, or you just want to tie it into this one. General Zod, not the main villain, right? Mike, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think they're going to do the old switcheroo. Maybe they learned from BVS and Doomsday. Hopefully.
Oh, my God.
Like, that would have been sick if I didn't know Doomsday was in it.
I'm hoping DC kind of learns from their mistakes, like, because they are so bad at just showing the entire movie and then doing the big reveals. And I'm hoping that they kind of take a page out of like Spider-Man No Way Home with that multiverse type of movie and the trailer and the promotion, and where like there are so many surprises that are left in store, like in No Way Home, where we got like Matt Murdock showing up. That's kind of like what I'm hoping for with like Christian Bale's Batman, right? And some other characters that might make this list here. And hopefully, right, we could even see like villains from like Keaton's era that show up.
Not even villains. You know? Start seeing Suicide Squad. Who and stuff. I'm gonna stop talking in case that some people have some predictions related to that. But
you're talking about like Captain Boomerang potentially, right?
Yeah, or anybody like you. We'll save that. But yeah.
Okay, so that's our third right there. Okay, General Zod, not the main villain. Ricky Flicks. Let's go on to 4. We're rolling now right around the horn again.
All right. Another common prediction here on TDI is screen time. All right. I originally wanted to do Ben Affleck, but these trailers are mixing me up a bit. I honestly don't know. The initial trailer, I thought, 5 minutes, easy. Now I'm like, he could be in a decent chunk of it. A couple different action sequences, and also on screen, not as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. I think he might be in a decent chunk of this movie. Or we can go the Iris West route, where we go minimum screen time.
Ooh, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think maybe Iris West under 5 minutes.
Under 59 seconds.
So what are we thinking here?
Oh, man. I think Iris West would be funnier. Affleck is the more like interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Affleck is just, I don't even know what's bold. I really don't.
It's hard because like I want to believe that he's going to be in the third act of this movie. And if he's in the third act, I have another prediction about him.
Right.
I really don't think he's in that much of the movie.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
That's from what I've heard. He's
for a Flash movie, if it's too much about the Batman, you obviously are spending a lot of time with Michael Keaton, and who knows who other Batman show up here. I think the Iris West one, if you say like less than 3 minutes of screen time.
5. Because they have been promoting her recently more and more.
How much is going to be slow-mo?
Yeah. That's
does that count? How about real time?
Real time, under 5 minutes. I think that's a good one.
I like that scene in the Snyder Cut, by the way, like the slow-mo scene. It's just really weird when he grabs the hot dog, though.
Yeah.
You know, when he pockets it.
But
he does it for the
30
dog.
seconds of screen time, but it's like 5 minutes of real time because
I think that factors in whether we confirm that this screen time is like this guess is accurate or not. That's a good point, Michael. That's why you're here. Okay, so under 5 minutes of screen time for Iris West.
Okay.
All right, that's a pretty important. It's an important character to
she's the romantic love interest.
Isn't that how we start getting like Wally and stuff? Like I never.
That's another prediction if people want. I'm just.
I'm not talking about predictions. I'm just saying, like, isn't she like his
brother?
Niece?
Depends.
Aunt. Yeah.
Depends on what you look at.
Just conjuring more like predictions in my head as we speak. But we have to go on to our 5th one. Mike, what do you got?
I just had it and it flew out.
You can throw it to me if you don't got it.
No, it'll come back. I got it. So if anyone's seen the Flashpoint Paradox or read the comic book, Barry Allen loses his powers, and when he goes back in time, and then Batman, who in the new universe is Thomas Wayne, Batman's father, Bruce died in that universe. He helps Barry get his powers. And I think Barry's going to keep his powers. They're going to do the experiment on the Barry in that universe so he can be also Barry, because he says in the trailer there's no metahumans here. So they need someone else to help. And the other Barry doesn't have powers. And so they give him his powers.
Lock it in. Lock it in. That's why he's on here, baby. But like I thought immediately that scene in the trailer where the lightning's going through both of the berries. And when I see that, that tells me, and you thought immediately with that Flashpoint connection, like, oh, when he goes back in time, right, doesn't have powers. There's no metahumans on this world. Obviously, he doesn't have powers. Great call, Mike. That's, we'll say it's a prediction, but like, I'm closest to thinking that this one is the most accurate we've had so far.
So how would we describe that?
The Barry on Michael Keaton's world doesn't have powers.
What do they call it? Earth 2? Yeah. I think DC calls the main one Earth 1, and then we can just call it Earth 2 Barry, whatever. Yeah. That's what they do in the comics.
And that's 5, correct? 5 so far?
5 so far.
We're halfway through. Excellent. I'm going to go with something with something to do with cameos because I want to get this off my chest. I teased it earlier. I think this is going to be a fun movie for older DC fans, not only because you're going to get Michael Keaton in this film, but I want to say you're going to get Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie. And not necessarily as Catwoman. She will be returning as Selena Kyle. I don't think she's going to wear the iconic suit. I don't know if Michelle Pfeiffer still has that ability to sneak into that slick suit. She doesn't.
Disrespect.
That thing had to be like pasted onto her. There's no way she had to like put that on herself. It literally was probably like, pasted on her, cut up, scissored up, literally how it looks in the movie. But I think she's going to be here, maybe living with Bruce Wayne, right? I don't know about the screen time or anything like that, but I'm fairly confident it'd be a great way to honor, right, the DC movies of the past. You want to show like the Gotham or the world that Michael Keaton has been in. It's a new type of Gotham that is now, right, his world. It's like safer, he says in a clip that came out recently. It's not the one that Tim Burton curated in 1989 and 92. It's one of the safest cities in the world. How do you still like let people know that this is that world? Have Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle.
So I agree. I had that one as well. I mentioned it earlier. But now that you said it, I don't love it anymore because I don't think she would be living with Bruce Wayne because in that clip, Bruce Wayne clearly let himself go. His long hair, he's not shaving every day. Like he let himself go. He's by himself at that house. There's no Alfred. He's just
you can leave out the part where
let's be honest, Alfred's probably dead, dude.
I know. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Bruce Wayne's 70.
No, that guy died like after Batman returned. Oh no, actually he was there since like until
Batman
he
was in every movie.
There.
How was there? How old was he at the end of Batman Robin? 105, dude. He was so old. He was that old in 89.
But do you get what I'm saying here? I think no one's taking care of Bruce Wayne. Okay, I think she's in the movie too. But I won't say living in the mansion.
Okay, yes. Exclude that part, I just dream of happily ever after. Sorry, I'm an optimist, Ricky. That's okay. Batman, you don't think so.
Dark. Yeah. Okay. There's no happily ever after for Batman.
Okay. Mike, what do you think about that one? You think Michelle Pfeiffer showing up?
I think you gotta put somebody from Batman 89 or 90 or 92, or else the world, it's just Keaton. You have to show that the world is established.
Christopher Walken.
I was thinking Knox.
Guys,
I was thinking Knox from Batman 89 as like someone who works out as a newspaper like reporter, or he works at a blog now, like almost how J. Jonah Jameson has moved on, like in the Spider-Man Raimi trilogy, to like having a blog in No Way Home. I thought like Knox is gonna show up somehow in this movie, just like on the street or something. I thought that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 6, right? So Selena Kyle, Michelle Pfeiffer will appear. 7. What do you got? Yes, flips. Yeah, we're back around the horn again.
I was also thinking like Billy D. Williams, like because we were talking about how he's shortchanged.
He's supposed to be Two-Face, right?
Yeah,
that's not a bad one.
I was thinking, like Billy D. Williams, like Harvey Dent showing
Never
up.
got to play Two-Face.
Giving him his shine here. Okay, but I'll be a little more realistic. I'll go with deaths. Okay, I think a lot of people. I think Ben Affleck, they won't kill him off. They're thinking about having him in Aquaman too, so I don't think he's gonna die. They're already and Machete and other people are already talking about potentially another Flash movie, so I don't think Ezra Miller dies. They're also talking about Sasha Calle, this Kara, Supergirl being Supergirl in the James Gunn DCU, so I don't think she's gonna die. And you can't kill off Michael Keaton. That's just a sin. And they also the rumors that they're thinking about another project with him. So my prediction is no major deaths in this movie for heroes.
Wow. You don't think either of the Batmen will die? I don't think Affleck's going to die because like he won't be enough in the movie. I actually was thinking that Keaton may die.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that until I saw that rumor this week.
And you know what? Like what tells me or gives me a hint that he will die is that there were multiple cuts of this movie and they changed the ending multiple times. And they said both times, like they screened the movie with both endings and somehow it worked both times. And they had future plans when the DCEU was still kicking that Michael Keaton would be like the next Batman in their universe, right? Replacing Affleck from the events of The Flash. And what's happening with the DCU, dude, there's no way they're bringing Michael Keaton back after this movie. There's 0% chance that he's coming back in any capacity. That'd be nuts.
All right, so you want to say
you want to get nuts?
Big Mike, thoughts?
Who's
dying in this movie?
I think it's Keaton, if anyone, or no death.
Yeah, I'm kind of agree with that one. I'm leaning towards no deaths. I don't first heroes. Actually, no. One of the bears is gonna die.
Okay, what if one of the bears is the villain of the movie? So like that guy probably donezo. But the one if it's the one that Ricky's saying, like what if it or I think Ricky was saying it, might have been Big Mike, usually two of us on this podcast, so it's confusing sometimes. But if that one turns out to be evil, right, on this world that doesn't have these powers, I don't think he's gonna die. He's just gonna learn how to use his powers.
No. Oh, what a twist. This doesn't count as my prediction, but they killed the good Barry and the evil one lives, and that starts the DCU. And just like the comic books, who dies in Infinite Crisis? Barry Allen, and Wally West becomes the main Flash. Now you have a great avenue, get a new actor to be the Flash because it's Wally West.
Your brain is too big. You have too much knowledge. Too much knowledge.
Overwhelming amount of knowledge. We finally get the animated Justice League.
Oh my god,
that's Wally West.
Jesus Christ! How do we form this prediction now?
I don't even know.
How do we put that into one sentence?
But like this, if this isn't the first movie in the DCU, then like how could this be a refresh for the DCU?
It's supposed to be the jumping off board. It's the springboard.
Is it?
It takes place after Aquaman. Aquaman takes place before this.
Is that a fact?
I believe that's a fact.
Wait, you can't say I believe that's a fact. It's a fact or it's not a fact.
Fact or fiction.
Did he say this on the podcast today? God damn it. This is like the type of information we need. Like the timeline of DC, you know?
It's after the Flash.
You got it?
Because August 25th, 2022. So with Aquaman 2 now taking place after the Flash, that's from Reddit. And then
always reliable.
Screen
the
Rant.
Events, not the actual movie, right?
The Events.
It's not like the movie's coming out after it.
Yeah, it's the Flash will reset the DC universe. That's from January of this year.
Okay, so then we can't say. Okay, so then what's the prediction?
No deaths.
No deaths or deaths?
Barry will die.
I think the good Barry Allen dies.
The good one.
Yeah, I kind of interested in that now. Because I wasn't a huge fan of Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. So like, let's do this over. Let's just
make him a villain in the new DC universe.
Let's do Wally.
It works. I hate him already.
Let's do Wally West, and then we introduce a new Barry Allen, and he comes back, and he's like, "Oh, you look different." Or people don't even freaking remember because it's so long after.
Okay, Ricky. Well, you have the official say on this. If you want to say no major deaths, I'm okay with doing it. If you want to say Barry Allen will die, I'm willing to say that too. If you want to say all of Mike's mumbo jumbo, I would advise against it, but you can.
You would be right, but
I'm not saying it's mumbo jumbo as in like it's just a lot.
I don't even know what to write for Mike. So I think I love it, but we can't do it. I don't know. I think that's too bold.
That's like Michael's writing the movies.
Yeah.
It'd be killer. Literally.
I'm fine with one of the Michael Keaton or a Barry dying. You guys pick between those two.
Jesus. Let's come back to this one. This is too hard. Do you have another one, Ricky? You want to just go to? Or are you going to like break our brains again?
I was going to say like a post-credit scene, perhaps. Like, I don't know.
No post-credit, I think. I think there's 0 post-credits for this movie. Because what else? It's not because like they're not going to have a post-credit for Blue Beetle, I don't think.
Or Aquaman.
You know?
Not even like a funny one. Like a super campy, like Clooney Batman post-credit type thing.
I think there could be a goofy post-credit, but there won't be a post-credit to tease any future movie just because I feel like if this is going to be a launching point for James Gunn's DC universe, they don't want to confuse anything by saying, here's the post-credit for Blue Beetle, which is not a DCU movie, or Aquaman 2. Like, I feel like that's just
what about, okay, so then, all right, well, okay, I agree. That's a good point. But, all right, fine. Not a post-credit scene. Ditch that idea. So, I think it was in the Snyder Cut, they mentioned Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, yeah, they did.
All right.
Oh, man.
I don't think he's in the movie or a post-credit scene. But do we get another reference, just to continue the hype?
I don't know.
Is that not big enough?
Well, I know. I'm just thinking like I don't like they won't make another like future reference. Like I don't think they're going to say like it's going to be appearing down the line because Ezra Miller I don't think is coming back.
Okay, so then I'll pass.
I think there's just no post-credit scene. Put that down as my prediction.
Okay, I like that.
No, and if Michael wants to say it, like no post-credit scene to tease future movies or projects. There could be something funny. I think that's a better way to do it. And Ricky Flex, before we throw it to Mike for the next prediction, can you just run through what we have so far to give the audience this? I know the last couple have been a little bit confusing. We've been obviously brain busted by Michael and his DC knowledge.
Number 1, domestic box office over 85 million. 2, Christian Bale's Batman makes an appearance. 3, General Zod is not the main villain. 4, Iris West less than 5 minutes of screen time. Look at her just get in half the movie. 5, Barry Allen on Michael Keaton's Batman world doesn't have powers. 6, Michelle Pfeiffer is in the movie. And 7, no post-credit scene to tease future projects.
Okay. Okay.
I got one, Ricky, I can go. That's related to the deaths thing.
Okay.
I think this is how the movie ends. I don't think Barry Allen dies. I think he has to go back into the timeline again. And no. He has to go back to fix something. And that's how the movie ends.
So Captain America.
So
sometimes you have to go
exactly
back.
What happened in Flashpoint. That's exactly how the DC animated universe ended after Darkseid War. I think that's what's going to happen because then what do? They have the option to use Ezra Miller in the future when shit dies down and he stays on his best behavior, and then he can come back.
So you're saying he dies back to the multiverse
with Wally West, or he can come back differently because they use some stupid explanation like I've been in a different timeline, shit changed.
So
easy cop out.
I interrupted you, Mike. I apologize. I just want to make sure I get it right. You're saying he's gonna at the end of the movie doesn't die but jumps back into the multiverse, and that's where we're gonna have potential start off point for the DC.
Not the multiverse. The what's it called? In DC Force? Has a name. Speed Force. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you watch Flash. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
And leaves the DCE behind.
That's what happens with the Infinite Crisis. That's how he ends up.
Right.
dying, but then he has to fix the timeline to sacrifice himself.
Right.
But then he ends up coming back in the
Yeah,
comic.
and I can see another to kind of help out with this one. A problem with the Speed Force, you can't have multiple speedsters. So if Barry Allen on that world doesn't have powers, but then they create a Flash out of that Barry Allen, then the Speed Force is like imbalanced.
They're both cycling off. Yeah.
So then Barry Allen, our Barry Allen, would have to fix the Speed Force either by killing the other Barry Allen, or he would have to do something within the Speed Force, or someone has to stay within the Speed Force. Now, that could be a prediction, by the way, too. Not a death, but basically a sacrifice.
That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, he's not going to die, but he's got to go back into the Speed Force, and that gives DC time to kind of figure out what they want to do with Miller overall and the Flash.
It's not terrible.
Okay, so just put it in a sentence for us, and then I could either say true or false.
The movie ends with Barry having to go back into the Speed Force and fix something.
That's it. Yeah, let's do it.
That's what I said.
I know. I have a hard time following all this. This is a lot of info. I'm in, and I like this more than like maybe him dying at the end. It's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, he can come back if they want. It depends on who's writing the movie and if Ezra Miller's not in jail.
That's 8. All dependent, you know. Both DC and Marvel really going through right now with their actors. So that's 8. I'm gonna throw out one more because I'm running out of predictions now at this point, or at least relevant ones. I think that I was gonna say I can change this to just Supergirl, but I think that no characters that appear in this movie will appear in the DC universe under James Gunn. I don't think, no matter how good Sasha Calle is as Supergirl, I don't think that she's going to be in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. No matter how good like Ezra Miller is, I don't think he's going to come back right as the Flash. I think James Gunn wants to start fresh. There's a reason why he hasn't wanted to he let go Henry Cavill. You are done. Ben Affleck, you are done. Like Aquaman 2 is not, it's a DCEU produced movie. It's not a DCU movie. What we have with Blue Beetle, this is not a DCU movie. This is before me. I think he wants to be able to call his universe his own, right? And curated with his choice of filmmakers and producers. I think no one shows up after this.
I would love this prediction, but he just said that Blue Beetle is going to show up.
No, I'm saying in the Flash. I'm saying
yeah.
And it goes with Michael's prediction from earlier that like it would make sense if the Blue Beetle's the first character. Guess what? No one from the Flash is showing up.
But so what I'm saying is, if the Blue Beetle isn't a DCU movie, right? But that character from the DCEU is going to show up at some point in the DCU, then I think Sasha Calle could show up in the DCU as Supergirl, even though she's in this movie.
I'm really confused by Gunn's comment because
he's saying this is the first character.
Suicide Squad characters are going to be in the DCU.
I see. Okay.
His brother's going to play Weasel, like he did in Suicide Squad. Peacemaker's probably getting season 2. Like I don't know why he said what he said. It's just confusing now.
No,
he was doing a great job, and then he's really confused me.
Doctor, I see what you're saying now, because he said Blue Beetle was the first is going to be the first, so it's impossible.
Yeah,
that anything prior. And Mike, that does make sense. What you're saying is that, wait, there's going to be a second season 2 of Peacemaker. He also confirmed that today, saying, oh yeah, after Superman, we're doing Peacemaker season 2. And who knows if they're going to do the Suicide Squad sequel or whatever. So like, I guess those are going to be Elseworld projects. And I guess.
Maybe he means it's going to be the first character to be introduced. Maybe he's saying the movie is going to be the DCU, and this is going to be the first character introduced.
This is exactly what everyone was scared of. This conversation that we're having right now. This is why everyone's like, "Oh my god,
nothing is different.
There's going to be too many different worlds. Oh my god, where is this person taking place? Oh my god, how this is so different from the Marvel. It's going to be a disaster." But our conversation, right? These last 2 minutes. Absolute roller coaster. Yeah, I have no idea where we're
exactly
at.
What
it's exciting.
Want.
I hate the Marvel formula. This is exciting.
Controlled chaos.
All right, so I agree with the doctor. Nobody in this movie is going to be in the DCU. Is that the prediction?
Yeah, I don't think anyone will carry over into the DCU. And Mike, do you think there's a chance that we get Kara as Woman of Tomorrow?
No.
Why?
No, there's a chance.
What? Come on.
It depends how much money this movie makes.
I wasn't challenging you. I was
this
just looking for
movie-
your insight.
If this movie makes a shit ton of money, you bet your ass they're gonna reuse certain characters.
And she's getting good critical praise right now.
Yeah,
I will also say.
Yeah. So we'll see. She looks nothing like. You know, I think she's gonna become. I know Supergirl, Power Girl is a multiverse variant of Supergirl.
Oh no.
So she might become the Power Girl, who's a key part of like Teen Titans and Young Justice and things like that.
Maybe. That's far-fetched. That's the boldest thing I've ever heard.
I'm not counting as a prediction. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm just thinking of like James Gunn thought of like Woman of Tomorrow, right? It's definitely it's a pretty famous graphic novel, right? That people like have an attachment to, or comic book line of Supergirl, probably the most famous, I think. You know, and he probably has like an idea of what that character is gonna be. And he's making Superman Legacy. He probably that Superman's going to be connected. I don't think it's an Elseworlds project for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. He probably wants to have his own casting there. So if you wanted to reduce this and make it more simple, I would just be like, "Hey, she's not like this is not our Supergirl for the DCU."
Okay, that's 9.
Okay.
So Big Mike, you're the guest.
Do you got any more?
You have any more predictions here? We have one final slot.
Make it count.
I could go bold with another cameo that I don't think is going to happen, but it'd be bold if it did and be pretty sick.
Let's get nuts.
All right.
I sound like Michael Keaton in The Flash.
I know Matt Reeves doesn't want any connection.
I don't even want to hear it.
Michael,
I don't even want to hear it.
Next one. Dude, oh my God.
That's what you brought.
Oh, God. They couldn't have been more clear that this is an Elseworlds project. They are nowhere near connected. I just want to show him in the goddamn Penguin series.
Okay. I'll get I will get an actual prediction. That makes sense. I think there's gonna be footage of what's his name?
Adam West.
Adam West Batman. I think it's gonna be in there.
Do we just throw that with the Christian Bale one, where it's like we'll see like glimpses of Christian Bale and Adam West Batman?
No, dude. The Christian Bale one's way bigger deal than the Adam West one.
And because he's alive.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get another one. Even though I don't absolutely hate that one, unlike the Pattinson.
Adam West showing up in this movie is
Like,
wild.
That's not a bull prediction. That's just like that's fiction.
No, let's go deeper.
Like a sound
He's gonna go into they're gonna do an animated scene in Super Friends.
Michael, I literally hear pounding at your door to like put you in a straitjacket right now. You sound lunacy right here. This lunatic.
I'm going to ask for another one.
Another one. I got all day, man. All right, what realistic?
Are you going from the dome right now?
Yeah, I'm going from the dome.
All right. Well, if you think
what
of
do you got,
anything, you say something.
You got anything?
Let's put Adam West.
I'm out. I'm throwing you gold and you're throwing the trash.
No, Adam West is in the back pocket right now. I think it's so crazy.
Doctor, you have any more on your list?
Let me double check. I don't believe so, man. I think I'm dry.
Okay, I have another one that I think you both axe. It's also crazy. I don't believe in it, but I kind of wanted to talk about it for 60 seconds. Grant Gustin. I don't think he appears in this movie, but some people are pretty like high on it. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Ezra Miller, if you didn't remember, because a lot of people stopped watching The Flash by that latter half of the series, Ezra Miller did appear in the Flash television series. And Grant Gustin, it's pretty clear he will not become the DCU Flash, no matter what. So do you think they even have thought about it, that he will be in this movie? I don't think so. I think his swan song was the season finale, series finale. But what are your guys' thoughts?
You think? I got one.
Totally disregard.
Wait, focus on the task at hand.
Write it down if you can't remember it.
Jesus Christ. You're like the kid with ADD who's just staring at the corner while the other kid's talking. Oh, wait, I have an idea. Here's what Michael's going to say. I think Grant Gustin's going to make an appearance in this movie.
That's not what I was going to say.
Fine. What are you going to say?
Dean Cain's going to make it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, I might have to kick you off. All right, Ricky Flex here. Grant Gustin. It would be reciprocal because obviously Barry Allen, Ezra Miller's Barry Allen showed up in the Flash TV show. But it's a lot different when you go from film to TV because everyone knows who the film star is. When you go TV to movie, is it like big enough where most audiences know what we're talking about or the reference there? I feel bad for Grant Gustin because I think it should happen, but I don't think it will.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Mike, did you watch The Flash at all, the show?
No, I saw just the clip of Ezra Miller. Speaking of people being more interested in the movies, so yeah, you could argue there is a couple of Flashes because there was that TV show in the 90s too.
Ooh, yeah.
No, but he's also on The Flash, John Wesley's ship. So he was.
Right. They did
Barry Allen's dad. Or
what was the storyline they did? Christ on Infinite Earths?
Infinite Earths, yeah. And he played I think he also played what's his name? Was it Jay Gordon? I can't remember. Jay Garrick, that's it.
And Mike, you did say Dean Cain. Like Brandon Routh, probably a better chance of showing up in this movie than Dean Cain.
Yeah, probably.
But you're sticking with Dean Cain.
All right. So Superman was more popular than that god awful.
All right, so we have 9. Are we just gonna go with Adam West like here?
We could go Reverse Flash, Dark Flash.
Okay, so let's pick.
We had that.
I thought we said. Well, we said Zod's not the main antagonist, and we could say Dark Flash appearance.
Dark Flash, not Reverse Flash.
Dark.
Okay. Yeah, because Reverse Flash would be Thong.
It's a good versus evil type of thing.
Yeah.
Right, Michael. Did you see Spider-Verse?
Not yet.
Okay, then I won't make any other comments here.
Ben Riley dirty though. I know that.
Yeah, I like that because you have like 2 different worlds. Okay, well, what if these powers were given to like the same person, different That's multiverse storytelling.
I have an idea.
What do you do with this power?
I have an idea we could do for a prediction. How many different universes are they going to go to? Because it's not really multiverse if you go to one, because that's just 2. That's what that was. That's a couple. That's a couple verse.
That was the bad part about Multiverse of Madness, where you thought you were going to like 10 different places and you ended up going to 4.
Yeah, like that's not really like, oh, you say it's infinite. Like you gotta like hop through. I'm wondering if they're gonna do like little skips. And like,
that's not a bad one, Mike.
They go to one and be like, oh, this place is weird, and hop out of there. That's what I was saying by like the Super Friends things. They do like that would be hilarious if they do that, and it's like
Let's put it as a bonus. Okay, let's say Dark Flash will appear. Bonus that we're going to go to over 3 different worlds. How about that? All right, Ricky Flex. If you have them written down, can you please try to recollect the bold predictions that we have conceived in this podcast?
Okay, domestic box office greater than $85 million opening weekend. Christian Bale's Batman makes an appearance. 3, General Zod, not the main villain. 4, Iris West, less than 5 minutes of screen time. 5, Barry Allen on Michael Keaton's Batman world does not have powers. 6, Michelle Pfeiffer is in the movie. 7, no post-credit scene to tease future projects. 8, Barry Allen has to go into the Speed Force at the end of this movie.
Good.
9, Sasha Calle will not be the Supergirl in James Gunn's DCU. Dark Flash makes an appearance as a 10th and not final prediction because we have a bonus one. They'll go to over 3 different worlds.
Did it.
Somehow we got there, folks. We got there.
Okay. Mike, what do you think of the list? Do you think it's a one? What do you think our success rate should be aimed? Like what's our goal? Excuse me.
I think we get 3 out of 10. We should be thrilled.
No. Michael, last time we did this for Across the Spider-Verse, we got 6 out of 10.
Borderline 7.
Guardians of
Wow.
the Galaxy Volume 3. I think we
Well,
had.
remind me
3
not
out.
to listen to that podcast because that would be spoiler alert.
But like no, but this is definitely more daring. I could see a lot of these things happening, but I can also see some of these things falling very flat on its face.
I think there's some pretty bold ones here.
Which one do you not think's happening? We're not changing these. These are locked in. Which one's not happening that we just said?
It's the Speed Force where he enters the Speed Force at the end.
I see that actually one of the more realistic ones.
Okay. Well, that's
I think I think the coolest one, in my opinion, would be if Bale shows up. I don't think that's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say Bale or Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I don't think those will actually happen, but it would be cool.
Motherfuckers.
I mean, it'd be dope. I mean, that arguably the coolest part of No Way Home was seeing the 3 Spider-Man. Not arguably, that wasn't the freaking coolest part.
My thing with Michelle Pfeiffer is that she was just in Quantum Mania. Like, is she gonna really be in another superhero movie?
Come on, man! Iconic role for Michelle Pfeiffer. Iconic role for Michelle Pfeiffer.
I have faith. I also had
her in Scarface and her as Selena Kyle. That's what I come back to with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I still think Christian Bale is the most bold here. Just for the record.
I don't know if that actually happened.
Okay. Well,
I don't hate our list.
I don't hate it either.
We got to be aiming for over 4 or more.
Okay, so that's our list. Okay, Mike, do you have any final comments before we wrap it up here?
No, sounds good.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
All right.
After all the things you said here.
I left it all on the table. I left it all on the table.
By the way, Mike said that. I know he has more to say. He was like, fine, you're going to shut me up? Fine. He's like a loose cannon on this thing right now. All right. Well, thank you to our DC correspondent, Big Mike, for helping us conjure up our 10 bold predictions for The Flash. Make sure that you are following us and our feed. We're going to have our instant reactions to The Flash this Thursday night, both on our feed on any listening platform you prefer and on YouTube. So make sure that you're following us, if you prefer on YouTube, at the Drive-In Pod. Okay? Drive-In Podcast. Follow us there. And then also make sure you're staying up to date with our socials, Twitter, Instagram, at the Drive-In Pod. If you're listening, wherever platform you prefer, rate us 5 stars, leave a review. All right. That's going to do it for the Flash 10 bold predictions. Thanks again for Big Mike for joining us, for Ricky Flicks and Dr. O. Until next time, we will smell ya.